very good afternoon to everybody present today for this webinar, which is ITSM and ITOM, ensuring high availability and business continuity with Manage Engine. Today, we'll learn how you can supercharge your ServiceDesk Plus workflows with OpManager's real-time network visibility. I'm Nikhil Frederick, product expert from ITOM. It is a pleasure to be hosting this webinar today. So this is the agenda of today's session where we'll be covering how you can keep your CMDB up to date for auditing and compliance, how you can reduce your mean time to repair with real-time CI relationship mapping, and how you can attain proactive incident management rather than a reactive one, and also how you can ensure noise reduction for improved focus on critical issues. Let me quickly give you a short introduction of what is OpManager and ServiceDesk Plus. So what is OpManager? OpManager is a comprehensive real-time monitoring solution which is crafted specifically for enterprise monitoring of all your network devices, storage devices, WAN links, virtual machines, and more. You name it, OpManager will monitor it. Some of its key benefits as listed include proactive infrastructure monitoring of all the configuration items in your network infrastructure, predictive fault management with the help of AIOps, network automation, as well as advanced mapping capabilities. Now coming to ServiceDesk Plus, ServiceDesk Plus is an IT service management software that helps technicians handle tickets in terms of asset management, incident management, and more to streamline their IT service management as well as the IT support operations. Some of its key benefits include centralized IT service management, improved service delivery, customizable workflows, and robust incident management. So when you integrate Manage Engine OpManager with Manage Engine ServiceDesk Plus, you can reap the benefits of both of these solutions under a single roof. With this, let me proceed with this session where we have a scenario. So there is a bank and its network infrastructure here, which consists of firewalls, routers, switches, servers, etc. So we have three servers here, which include database server with a storage, web server, and application server. And finally, they are being accessed by the end users. On the right-hand side, you can see Manage Engine ServiceDesk Plus, which this bank is utilizing for their IT service management needs. ServiceDesk Plus consists of CMDB, which is a change management database that is inbuilt where details of all the asset information in your network infrastructure are stored, and it always needs to be up to date. Also, the technician utilizes this ServiceDesk Plus to handle tickets if there is any anomaly in your network infrastructure. So everything is smooth here, but the bank is facing some challenges. What are those? The first challenge is with respect to change management database. So what happens is that they have to manually add new devices of their environment and sync it with CMDB. So one day while doing this, they missed some of the devices, which led to a non-compliance of an important information security audit. So the bank was termed as non-compliant because of this, and because of that, they have to pay heavy penalties, which also led to a heavy reputation loss. So what happened here was that because of manual management of CMDB, they failed to keep the CMDB up to date, which led to non-compliance of an important information security audit, which here is ISO IEC 27001. Another key challenge they faced was, if suppose there is a critical issue with the switch, it will be immediately raised as a ticket to the technician, and the technician will start to work on it. But here the core challenge is that he doesn't know the interconnected devices for this particular switch. So here you can see this switch is connected to an app server as well as multiple switches and a router. So this is basic architecture which are given for illustration purposes, but in an actual bank infrastructure, there will be multiple switches, multiple routers that are interconnected. So when an issue raises for this particular switch, the technician will receive the ticket, but he doesn't know what are all the dependent devices and if those devices also could be affected because of this issue. So because since he doesn't have proper CI dependency mapping, he needs to involve other teams in his network environment and then arrive at a root cause. So this heavily increases the mean time to repair. So this is one challenge. The other challenge which they were facing was with respect to storage of a particular server. So what happened was that suddenly they found that this particular database server had a had some heating issues, and its CPU utilization was way over the normal. When checked, they came to know that the storage of the particular server has reached 95%. So they left it until the last stage, and because of this, there were unwanted issues in the server. So this happened because there was no proactive monitoring of the IT assets in their network infrastructure. So these are all the challenges that the bank is facing. Now let me walk you through these challenges in detail and how this integration of OpManager helps solve them. So the first challenge is with the CMDB maintenance. As I mentioned before, the bank was preparing for this crucial audit, which is ISO IEC 27001, which demands or requires complete and up-to-date documentation of all the IT assets. So what happened was that during the audit preparation, the admin finds that at the last minute, the servers and the switches, which they installed newly, they were not synced with this change management database. They added to the network infrastructure, but they failed to show it in the CMDB. This jeopardized the bank's ability to pass the audit. So because of this, the bank got non-compliance penalty, as well as they were in the danger of potential security breaches because of these unmanaged assets. So the bank wondered, is it possible to maintain an up-to-date CMDB without relying on manual effort? Is automated CMDB management possible? Yes, the solution is OpManager's real-time discovery, where you can discover devices across branches seamlessly, and you can also sync it with CMDB in real time. So you can not only sync network devices, but you can also sync your storage devices as well, servers, virtual machines, applications, and more. So let me show you this in the UI. So this is the UI of Manager and OpManager, where we are currently in the dashboard screen, where you get widget view of all the operations currently running in your network infrastructure. So this provides a bird's eye view of all the operations. So this is completely editable. So now to perform a discovery, just go to settings, click on discovery. Here you'll find the network discovery tab. To perform a new discovery, just click on this button over here. You can provide the name for this discovery. And as you can see, there are four methods through which you can discover your network devices in OpManager. The first one is the IP range. So here you need to provide the start IP and end IP over here. Just click on, select the credentials from over here and click on discover. So what happens is that as soon as you click on discover, OpManager will run the discovery, and it will find it'll discover the devices in between these IP ranges, and those discovered devices will be automatically reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. So you don't need to manually add any devices. The other discovery option is the subnets. So suppose if you have the network IP for particular subnet, you can just enter it over here. You can select the credentials from over here, and you can click on discover. The next option is importing from Active Directory. Suppose if you have all the devices details stored in the Active Directory, you can just import it by providing the domain controller name, the domain name, username, password, select the credentials, and click on discover. The final option which we have is the importing from CSV file. So here, if you have any devices in your network infrastructure listed in the CSV or Excel format, you can just browse it from over here, and you can just upload the file. But the file must be in a proper format as mentioned in the sample file. Once that is given in the proper format, OpManager will accept it, and it will discover the devices provided in the particular CSV file. So however you discover, the end process is that, or the end result is that it will automatically push those devices to the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. So that, as mentioned before, the bank faced a crucial audit and they missed out on that because of this particular CMDB issue. But with OpManager's discovery, these devices will be automatically synced to the CMDB, and the bank doesn't need to worry about the audits anymore, because all the devices will be automatically listed in the CMDB and no manual intervention is required at all. Another crucial aspect I wanted to explain in the discovery part is the discovery rule. So discovery rule engine, OpManager has a specific discovery rule engine inbuilt, which is used to automate device configurations using conditions and actions once the device is discovered. So let me quickly give you an example. So here we have a rule to add MS SQL monitors. So what you can provide a name and a description for what purpose. So here the purpose is to add MS SQL monitors to devices if the MS SQL process is running. So you can select the criteria and the action which it needs to be performed. So here the criteria is selected as process name equals SQL server.exe, and the action is selected as associate MS SQL monitors to all the instances. So what happens is that OpManager, as soon as it discovers the devices, it will verify whether this particular value or the condition is met. If it is met, it will automatically associate the MS SQL monitors to all the instances. So here this feature helps network administrators in cutting off their time and focus on more important critical tasks. So before this feature, the admins need to discover the devices, as well as soon as they discover it, they need to associate some configurations for the particular device, such as MS SQL monitors. So instead of doing this manually, OpManager itself will automatically discover the devices, and it itself will associate the required configurations for the devices, cutting every manual intervention that is required. So this is about OpManager's discovery and how it keeps the CMDB or ServiceDesk Plus up to date. So let's move on to our next challenge of the day, which is challenge faced by the bank, which is due to insufficient CI dependency mapping. So what happened was that, as I mentioned before, there was a sudden switch failure, and the IT admin or the technician struggled to find the interdependent devices and what all devices would be affected because of this issue. So this increased the troubleshooting time, as he had to call in multiple teams and understand what is the connection, what is the dependent connections, and how it will affect the devices, and then tell the initial diagnosis to the end user, which increase the MTTR to a high level, causing customer dissatisfaction. So customers require immediate resolution, or at least they need to know basic information as what has gone down if there is a downtime. So if without proper dependency mapping here, the admins fail to provide a clear information to the end users, resulting in customer dissatisfaction as well. So the bank wanted to gain clear visualization of all the CI dependencies in the network infrastructure or in the CMDB to reduce the MTTR drastically. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible with OpManager's CI dependency mapping. So OpManager provides clear CI visualization in network level, as well as virtual machine level and application level. So first, in network level, we have layer 2 mapping, which has layer 2 auto discovery as well to automatically add devices to the map. So here you get comprehensive view of the seed device and all its interconnected dependencies. So with this, the technician will know, okay, for this problematic switch, these are all the interconnected devices. They can work accordingly or troubleshoot accordingly. So this eventually will reduce the MTTR drastically. So let me show you this in the UI. Under Maps tab, you have the layer 2 maps and other mappings. So you just need to click on the plus symbol over here, and you need to create a new map. You can provide the map name, the seed device IP address over here, the start IP, end IP, as well as you can select the credentials and click on Discover. So once you click on Discover, OpManager will automatically draw a map with the seed device and its interconnected dependencies, and it will give a clear visualization of the connections in your network infrastructure. So also I wanted to mention here, it is provided as schedule interval 5 days, right? So what is this 5 days? So OpManager runs this layer 2 discovery every 5 days. And if there are any new devices it comes across, if it comes across any new devices, it will automatically discover that and add it to the map. So you don't need to manually add a device to an already created map. That also OpManager will take care of it. So once the map is drawn, it will show over here with some of the details, like what was interval days set and when it was last updated and such. From here you can edit the map, delete the map, and you can perform some operations. So here is the seed devices IP address. So you can just click on it, and here is the map. So here is a seed device, which is a switch. So based on the bank's difficulty, let's say this switch is facing some issues. So immediately the technician will come to layer 2 maps, and he'll visualize, okay, fine, these are all the interconnected devices present in my network infrastructure for this particular problematic switch, and what all devices have gone down. If there is a potential breakage because of this, and all those troubleshooting you can perform from here. Another concept, the main concept here is that this map will be automatically reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. Generally in ServiceDesk Plus, you need to add individual mapping or create new mappings manually. So that will not be the case here. Once map is drawn in OpManager, it will reflect in CMDB without any manual intervention. So let me show you that. So in the go to ServiceDesk Plus, in the ServiceDesk Plus UI, just go to CMDB. And from here, you can just enter the IP address of the particular seed device, and you can view the relationship of it. Here it is. So this is the particular switch which I showed in the OpManager, and these are all the interconnected devices to it. So you don't need to always go to OpManager to view it. If you're constantly using ServiceDesk Plus, this will be automatically reflected in the ServiceDesk Plus CMDB itself. From here, you can save it as a business view or export it as a PNG or PDF file. So this is layer 2 mapping of OpManager and how it reduces the MTTR. So we also have other dependency mapping supported. As I mentioned before, OpManager not only provides layer 2 mapping, it also provides virtual level mapping as well as application level mapping. So here virtual machine mapping is nothing but you get clear insights on the VM host and the dependent VMs. In the application discover and dependency mapping, which we call as ADDM, you get clear insights on what applications are running and its database connections. So let me show you a virtual machine first in the UI. Go to OpManager UI. In the same maps, you will have VMware over here. So OpManager not only supports VMware, we also have Hyper-V, Zen, and Nutanix as well. So to create a new map, just click plus symbol over here. And as you can see here, there are 3 types of virtualization discovery OpManager has. So the first one is VMware, the other one is the Hyper-V, and we also have Zen. So let me show you with VMware. So here you have 2 radio buttons to start with, which is to discover vCenter and discover ESX. So what is this is that if your host is a vCenter, you just need to click on this radio button, provide the IP address of the vCenter, select the host credentials and click on discover. If suppose your host is an ESX, you can just click on this, enter the IP address and select a ESX host credential and click on discover. So once you click on discover, OpManager will automatically draw a map of the host device and its interconnected virtual machines, and it will provide it to you. So once the map is drawn, let me show you, it will be shown over here with certain information such as the seed device or the host device IP address, what is the guest OS in that, with the status of it, the version which it is currently running, and how many hosts are present, how many VMs are interconnected, and out of these VMs, how many are monitored, and what are the data stores present. So you just need to click on this over here, and here it is. So here you have the ESX host system and all the interconnected virtual machines along with the data stores present. So this map will also be reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. So here again, if I can just enter the IP address, click on relationship mapping over here, and here it is. So this is a particular ESX host, and this virtualizes these virtual machines. So that map is automatically reflected over here. You don't need to provide any extra information to get the map ready in ServiceDesk Plus. OpManager will get it ready then and there. So here you will have clear insights not only on your layer 2 devices or layer 2 dependencies, you will also have clear view on your virtual systems and its dependencies as well. So the next map, which I'm going to show you, is the application level visibility, which is application discovery and dependency mapping. So for this, you need to have application performance monitoring module of OpManager to be enabled. So once it is enabled, just click on settings tab over here. Go to discovery. And once you've discovered the devices with its IP range, you can just view the dependency map over here. So as you can see here, there are different applications shown over here. for this particular OPM W11.6, we have Tomcat server running, and for this particular Linux machines, we have these PostgreSQLs running. So this application performance module covers your application level insights, where it gives clear details into your application's performance, website monitoring, infrastructure monitoring, and such. And here is the dependency mapping that is supported in that. So this particular module's dependency mapping will also be reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. So as I showed you the Tomcat server, just click on application servers, and here you can find the Tomcat server. Just click on the relationship, and here it is. This is the Tomcat server, and it is being used by the OPM W11 Windows machine, and this hosts the application manager solution as well. So this map is also automatically transmitted from the OpManager to your ServiceDesk Plus. So with this, you not only you get clear insights on your layer 2 dependencies, virtual dependencies, as well as application level dependencies, so that you don't need to worry about your MTTR, because you will immediately know, okay, fine, these are all the devices that are connected to my network infrastructure, and you'll have all the information without involving other teams. So with this, you can increase your MTTR to next level. So this is about dependency mappings and how it reduces the MTTR. So next we'll move on to another critical challenge that the bank faced, which was due to lack of asset health and performance monitoring. So as I mentioned in the scenario, the bank service team was suddenly alerted to a storage issue. But this storage issue came to light only when there was server anomaly, and that particular server's performance was not good because its CPU utilization was way over the limit, because the storage had reached 95%, and the IT team did not know until it reached this stage, making their response reactive. But latest network infrastructure demands that you have a proactive monitoring, not reactive monitoring. So the bank had clear view of all the assets that are present in their network infrastructure with the CMDB, but they were in the dark regarding the asset health and performance. So they wanted to know, is there a way for proactive monitoring of all their assets in the CMDB? Yes, that is possible with OpManager's integration. So OpManager, as I mentioned in the introduction, is a comprehensive network monitoring solution that provides clear information or real-time monitoring of all your network devices, storage devices, WAN links, virtual machines, and more. So in OpManager, we have AI and ML based thresholds where you can provide a certain criteria, and if that criteria gets exceeded, it will automatically raise an alarm, and that alarm will be immediately translated as ticket in ServiceDesk Plus to the right technician, and the technician will work on it then and there. So this will prevent such cases where the bank's storage reached 95%. So here you can set the threshold value as 75% and ask the op manager to immediately raise an alarm once it crosses the 75% or 70% mark. So with this, once it is resolved before it reaches any critical state, it will be useful for your network infrastructure. So let me quickly give you a visual representation of how the process works. So there is Op Manager, and Op Manager continuously monitors your network for health, availability, and performance in real time. So as I mentioned before, there is a threshold value set for a particular device. Let's say for the storage device, and that particular storage has exceeded its threshold value, and this violation will be immediately reflected as an alarm, and this alarm will be translated as a ticket in ServiceDesk Plus, and that ticket will be automatically assigned to the right technician, and the technician will immediately work on it based on the information received in the ticket. So that this prevents the worst case scenario where it reaches higher stages of storage like 90 to 95, causing unwanted disruptions in your network infrastructure. So you can prevent it by enforcing a proactive monitoring into your network infrastructure. So this all is possible with Op Manager's notification profile. So let me show you that in the UI. Go to OpManager's UI, click on Settings, Notifications. So here you will find Notification Profile section over here. To create a new one, just click on Add, click on Log a Ticket after that. So once you click on Log a Ticket, here you can create the ticket details. So this will be better understood if I show you an example. So here is the example. I'll just click on it here. Yeah. So check whether which integration you want to raise the ticket. So I've clicked as ServiceDesk Plus over here. So here you can enter the ticket details. What all information should the technician receive once he receives this particular alarm? So here you can select the category as network operating system. So whichever category you like, you can just select it. Here, if you want to add a subcategory to that also you can do it. Here you can choose an item at the priority level, which is high, medium, normal, or low for this particular notification profile. And here you can select the group, whether it's a hardware problem group or network group, you can select it from here. And here you can select the technicians available in your technician team. So here I have 3 technicians. So for this particular notification profile or which I'm creating, this particular technician will be best suited. So I have selected this particular technician over here. And here I've entered the title as critical storage issue, high priority. And here can provide the description like whether what is the complete details of the device, what is the condition, and all those messages can be reflected over here. So once you click on this, you can just click on test action to see if you receive any tickets as to confirm the integration. And you can just click on next. So here you need to provide the criteria. So what all devices, what all criteria should be present for this particular alarm to be raised. So you can select any or all of the criteria from this particular screen. And you can select the severity from here, whether it is critical, trouble, attention, or service down, and you can click on next. Here you can assign the devices. You can select all of the devices, or you can select whichever devices you require. So I've selected OPM WS16 machine over here. You can click on next. Here you can apply the time window, whether this profile should be applied 24/7 or any particular time window. You can click on next. And here, again, you can perform a test action. And once it's successful, you can just click on save. Once this is saved, if suppose a violation occurs, if suppose the storage violation occurs, OpManager will immediately trigger this notification profile alarm, and it will be immediately reflected as a ticket in ServiceDesk Plus. So under ServiceDesk Plus in requests, you will find the issue. So as you can see here, that ticket is automatically reflected over here with the title which I have provided and the description which is given over here. And I assigned how it's turned over there, right? So that technician is automatically assigned this particular ticket. So this also lessens the burden of the technicians or network administrators to assign the particular ticket to a particular person. It will automatically OpManager will automatically take care of that issue as well, and it will automatically assign a particular technician given by you. So from here, you can visualize the ticket and take care of the issue then and there. So this is about OpManager's proactive monitoring and alarms to ticket transition and how it saves millions of dollars for companies by providing proactive monitoring. Next is the noise reduction. So noise reduction is an important aspect of a network organization because due to alert fatigue, there may be chances to overlook some other major alerts that are happening in your network infrastructure. So have taken a use case over here with the bank. So let's say the bank has 10 UPS units with at least 7 needing to stay operational at all times. If 3 goes down, then it will not be a infrastructure level damage for the particular bank. So 3 can be given as a threshold, but 7 needs to be available at all times, because if one of the 7 goes down or 4 of the UPS goes down, which can lead to a potential network level infrastructure damage. So for that, the bank requires critical alarms like priority 1 alarm or a critical alarm if 7 systems fail. So the threshold value is violated, and there could be an infrastructure level damage, and they need to receive a critical alarm. If 5 go down, they can receive a trouble alarm. And if 3 are down, then they can receive an attention alarm. All right, fine. 3 are down, you can either work on it, or you can just, you'll get an information that 3 are down and you need to work on it. But for this, you need to configure individual monitors for every UPS. So let's say I've given 10 over here, but an actual infrastructure has multiple UPS systems, right? So you need to manually configure monitors for each of the UPS, resulting in separate alarms for each failure. So once every UPS goes down, you will receive individual alarms, making it difficult for admin to quickly track the alarm's priority. So if 5 of them go down and you receive in a typical network infrastructure, admins will not only receive these tickets, right? They will also be receiving other critical tickets from everywhere. So it will be difficult for them to track. Okay, fine, 5 alarms have gone down. I'll make note of it and just work on it. So that's not the case here. So they wanted a single high priority alarm without the need to configure individual monitors. That is possible with OpManager's intelligent alarm correlation, where you can create a rule that triggers a single high priority alarm, and also you can assign an automated workflow for this particular alarm so that you don't need to perform any operations manually. And this particular alarm will also be associated as ticket in the ServiceDesk Plus. So let me show you that. In the Op Manager, go to settings, click on configurations, alarm correlation rules. So here to create a new rule, you can click on add. Let me quickly give you an example. So here you can provide the name and devices or interfaces, whichever you want, the category, whichever you like to select, and you can just click on apply filter. Once you click on apply filter, all the devices of the particular category will be listed over here, and you can just select whichever devices you require, and you can just transfer it over here. So I gave you an example that 10 UPS systems need to be operational. Let's say these are the 10 UPS systems I've selected. You can just click on next. From here, you need to provide the criteria. So here I've given the criteria as availability less than equal to 30%. So before explaining criteria, let me show you what all options we have in the criteria. So under device availability, you have availability state, availability packet loss, response time. Under device custom fields, you have a lot of things. Under general properties, you have a lot of things. So whichever category is required by you specifically, you can just click on that criteria and enter it over here. So I have given the value as 30%. So what this means is that the 10 UPS systems which I've selected is as a whole 100%. So when it reaches 30%, is that all 7 of the critical UPS has gone down. Only 3 are left. So this will be the threshold value, that is 30%. So once this reaches, the bank must know that all the 7 alarms, all the 7 UPS have gone down and need to immediately work on restoring the UPSs. So you can just click on next. Here you can select the time window. Since it is a critical device, you can just run it every 3 or 2 minutes also. You can just click on next, and here you can trigger the alarm. So you can select the criteria, whether it is critical, trouble, or attention. Provide a short alarm message saying that the poll condition has been violated or the threshold value has been violated. Immediately work on it. And here can propagate this alarm to a certain device. So you can select whichever device that needs to be associated for this particular alarm. And here you can assign a workflow. So what is this workflow is that you can perform, Op Manager itself will perform certain predefined actions without the need for manual intervention. So here the case is to UPS restarting, am I right? So you can just create a workflow to start an UPS or troubleshoot an UPS, and you can just add it to the workflow over here. So whenever this alarm is violated or the rule is violated, this workflow will be performed then and there, so that you don't need to manually involve anywhere. And here is the notification template. So as you can see here, I've selected the notification template as to log a ticket as priority 1 UPS alarm, since all these 7 have been down. So once this alarm is violated, it will be shown in the ServiceDesk Plus. So once you click on save, this alarm will be activated. And if the rule is violated, under the request column, you will view the ticket as UPS state critical. So, and this is the title, and this is the description over here, which provided as 7 out of 10 UPS is down. So you need to work on it. And I've selected the technician which needs to work on it. So this notification template can also be created from the notification profile screen over here. So as you can see here, we have notification template, which I've created as priority 1 UPS alarm. So you can just select it. You can select the category, a subcategory. This is all same as I mentioned in the notification profile. But as you can see here, the technician is selected as Heath Graham for it. And I've given the title and description once the rule is violated. So this is easily reflected over here without any manual intervention. So with this, you can also reduce your noise with unwanted alarms, or you can keep track of the priority alarms. So this is about alarm correlation. Next, we have uplink dependency, which is of the similar concept of noise reduction, but here this is related to dependent devices. Let's say you have a virtual host and there are n number of child devices. So the host will be the parent and the virtual machines will be the child devices. In a typical infrastructure, there will be a parent and what to say around 30 to 40 child devices as well. So it will be difficult for admins when the parent goes down and a barrage of alarms is raised for the child. But the core issue here is the parent is down. So OpManager simplifies it for you. So what happens is that you will receive a single alarm informing the user that the parent is down, and the child devices will be automatically marked as dependent and unavailable. Also, if the parent goes down, the monitoring is suspended for the child devices. So you let's say for those 30 to 40 child devices, the parent goes down, you will not receive any alarms for those 30 child devices. Rather, you will receive one alarm saying that the parent is down, and the admin will work on it to restore the parent. So let me show you this in the UI. So this can be assigned during discovery as well. So if you have missed in the discovery, you can just go to a device snapshot page. You can just click over here and you'll find uplink dependency over here. So let me select a device to be as uplink dependency. So yeah, what this means is that in the uplink dependency, I have selected Echo W11.3, but the device is the OPM WS16.1. So what this means is that whichever device you select here from the list under uplink dependency, that will be marked as parent and this will become the child. So Echo W11.3 will be the parent for OPM WS16.1. If this particular parent goes down, you will receive a single alarm saying that only Echo W11.3 is down. But for OPM WS16.1, you will not receive any alarms, and this will be marked as dependent unavailable, or the parent is unavailable. So this will reduce the barrage of alarms you will receive in a dependent architecture. So these are the two ways which you can reduce noise for your network infrastructure. Next, we have a new feature that has been released recently, and also I'll cover what are the features we have in the roadmap. So alarm forecast recommendation is the new feature which we have released. So here you will get possible impact and recommendation for the alarms with the help of server disk forecasting, log size forecasting, as well as data store forecasting. And these can be instantly logged as ticket in ServiceDesk Plus. As you can see from the screenshot, there's an alarm message saying that your server disk will be filled in 5 days. So we have listed the possible impact that will cause because of this, that is APM and SQL DB hosted in the server will be affected, and the recommendations that you need to perform, that is to increase your disk size by 40 GB to address this issue. So from here you can perform two actions, which is to assign a workflow for this particular alarm, or you can just log a ticket then and there using the notification template which I showed you, and that will be raised as a ticket in ServiceDesk Plus, so that the technicians will immediately work on it before this becomes a serious issue. So this is a new feature which we have developed. You can make use of it. And we have certain features in roadmap, which will be released shortly by this month end or in November first week. So that is with related to mapping. So before I covered in the session that we have layer 2 mapping, virtual machine mapping, as well as application level mapping, right? So these mappings, you need to visualize it separately. You need to create layer 2 maps separately. You need to create virtual machine maps separately, application maps separately, and view it in different states. So here we have made it holistic. So with observability mapping, you will get all of these mapping, all of these network infrastructure or application level mapping under a single view. So you can also view it separately, or you can just view it like this. Next, we have observability mapping with switchport mapper. So here, what is this feature is that, suppose let's say PKL voice 1 is the switch, you will receive key points such as the port numbers to which this particular device is connected. So that is, let's say a PKL voice 1 in the port 276 particular device is connected. So you'll have better visibility with respect to port numbers. This will be active only if you have the IP address and switch port mapper module of OpManager enabled, but other mappings will be available in the console. So this is not yet released. You will be notified it once it releases by this month end or by November 1st week. Finally, we have the integration steps. So the integration steps is pretty simple. So let me just show you that in the UI. Go to settings, click on third-party integrations, and here you will have ServiceDesk Plus. Just click on configure over here. So here you need to enter the server address over here, which is the ServiceDesk Plus server address, the port number, and the technician key over here. So technician key will be available in the user profile screen. So you just have to generate the auth token over here. Just click on copy over here, paste it over here. Then that is done. Next, we have ticket setting. So what should ServiceDesk Plus do when OpManager raises an alarm that is recurring? Should it create a new ticket for that alarm or reopen it as a closed ticket? So you can select whichever option is required over here. And next we have CMDB settings. So here, this is the core concept of the integration. So you have to enable this option when you need to sync the devices to ServiceDesk Plus. You need to click on this option. So suppose if OpManager discovers any new devices in the future, this will also be reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. So you need to ensure this option is enabled. And here you have relationship syncing to ServiceDesk Plus, where you can just enable this. And as I mentioned before, the architecture, the layer 2 mapping, as well as the virtual machine mapping, as well as the application level mapping was instantaneously transferred from OpManager to ServiceDesk Plus, right? So that was because this option was enabled, and you need to enable it to view the relationship mapping. You can just click on save, and you can just click on sync now. Once that is done, the asset synchronization will be started, and it will be reflected in the CMDB of your ServiceDesk Plus. So this is all about how the integration of OpManager will be helpful for ServiceDesk Plus. So we have John over here, a product expert from ITSM, who will give you some clear insights on ServiceDesk Plus now. Over to you, John.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. That was a very insightful session on how we can integrate ServiceDesk Plus and OpManager and the different capabilities of benefits that are available to us when we integrate both of these different platforms together. So far we saw the OpManager side of things on how OpManager works, how you can set up your alerts, notifications, and Nikhil also went through a use case on how with this integration, proactive incident management is possible because alerts in OpManager can be automatically created as tickets within ServiceDesk Plus. And we saw how we can set up the notification profiles, the different parameters for a ticket that can be configured from OpManager's side. So again, this is all from the perspective of OpManager and your network monitoring tool. So how does all of this actually improve the life for technicians, or how does this improve service management? And now we're going to take a look at that. For those of you who are not familiar with ServiceDesk Plus, so this will be a great demo on what ServiceDesk Plus offers for you and how you can completely streamline and optimize your service delivery strategy. And to make things easier for you to understand, we're going to be taking a look at a major incident. We're going to break it down and see how with this integration, we are enabling proactive major incident management and how With ServiceDesk Plus and the capabilities offered by ServiceDesk Plus, we can establish and build a good major incident management response and strategy. All right, so without further ado, let's go into our use case and let's look at our story. So over here, we have our friends, a global education technology vendor, and they help universities around the world solve their remote and hybrid learning challenges. So they offer a SaaS-based LMS through which they host various different education courses, resources that are available for students to access from anywhere across the world. And this LMS is hosted on various different data centers, geographically, spread out, and it is all connected with the backbone network, which enables a seamless services for the students at the university. So now, what goes wrong? So during a routine maintenance job, there was a wrong code that was issued, and as a result, it took down the entire backbone server, and as a result, services are down. And so the whole point of making a change to the server and it causing a problem is a completely different story on its own, where we'll be looking at change management. But now, since we're looking at just incident management and major incident management at it, let's look at a quick timeline of what happened at our with our friends and all the different things that went wrong for them. So here is a timeline. So it starts off with the first step, which is the LMS platform actually going down. So problem here, the problem number one over here is the fact that they were unable to identify that there was a point of failure. And let's move on to the next step. So now the IT team starts receiving alerts and information that the services are down, and additionally their students and end users have started raising multiple tickets that the network that they are unable to access their education services. And that is how the service desk is actually getting information that their operations or services are down. So that is problem number two. So this kind of ties in together with the first problem, because the service desk the service desk team is only aware of issues when tickets are being raised by their end users, which shouldn't be the case at all in the first place. So now the second, now we move on to the next stage. So now the current tools that they have and a lack of automations and communication leads to a bottleneck where they are unable to immediately start responding to this major incident. So now they know that there is something wrong with their network, but since there is such a delay in the service desk realizing something is wrong, they miss out on crucial, important time in the beginning where they can immediately work on this and minimize the damages caused by this by the services being down. Moving on to the lack of communication. Now, throughout this entire process, the team completely fails to keep their stakeholders informed that there is a major incident in play. Now, if you are a C-level executive, I'm sure you would love to know that there is a major incident happening as soon as it happens, right? So you don't want to know at the very end that your services have been down for an hour. You all know that's just the how huge the business impact of that would be, right? The amount of revenue that is lost just because your services are down for now could be catastrophic. So it is ideal that you, as a C-level executive or key stakeholders, get information as soon as possible so that you are prepared and you can work with the rest of your team, your service desk team, your organization in triaging, bringing the right people to the right place so that you can immediately resolve this issue. And again, continuing with the theme of lack of communication, the SRE team again belatedly notifies the NOC and data center operation teams, which leads to further delays. And additionally, they also fail to inform the facilities team that there is such an issue going on and that engineers need to physically go access the servers and restart it. And the facility team not giving access to the respective engineers to go and fix it again leads to further delays. And now end users are also not informed that there is a major incident in play, which leads them to continue raising tickets to the service desk that they are unable to access their services. And finally, we can see that this entire process is so complicated, so delayed, and it's like a dumpster fire at this point, because there is no standard operating procedure that has been established. And even though the team, I'm sure, would have had a plan in place for how major incidents need to be resolved, that definitely did not happen in the heat of the moment. So now let's look at the challenges, how you can overcome these challenges, and the capabilities in ServiceDesk Plus that can help you easily overcome said challenges. So challenge number one is the IT team fails to realize, one, the extent of the damage, two, that a major incident was in play. So how do you identify this? So this can be done by setting up diagnostic tools or monitoring tools which continuously monitor your network, your services, and then immediately raise an alert in ServiceDesk Plus that something is wrong and maybe the service desk team needs to check up on it. So in ServiceDesk Plus, we can integrate with a variety of different IT management tools. So Manage Engine has a whole suite of IT management tools that ranges from ticketing to AD management to network monitoring to endpoint management and so on. And ServiceDesk Plus can integrate with all of these tools, and it can act as a central command center where all the information from your other IT management tools can congregate in one place. And ServiceDesk Plus can help give you context on what is happening in your IT infrastructure and also help your IT team effectively roll out incident response strategies and so on. So by integrating with a variety of different tools, ServiceDesk Plus, and in this case, particularly by integrating with OpManager, as soon as OpManager identifies something is wrong, it can raise a ticket in ServiceDesk Plus, and the service desk team can immediately start working on it and identify if it is a major incident or not. Challenge number two is the internal communication pitfalls. So we saw with our friends at the education LMS vendor that there was a complete breakdown in communication. Stakeholders, C-level executives were not informed that there was a major incident in play. The different teams that are required to work together to fix this issue were also communicated about the issue, delayed, and finally, even different departments like facilities were completely not informed that they need to give access to engineers to access their servers and their data centers and so on. So communication is key. You need to inform your stakeholders, your different teams, and also you need to inform your end users so that we move on to challenge number three. The employees don't badger the help desk with tickets. So the last thing you want when you are handling with a large, like a major incident, is employees continuously raising tickets, informing the service desk that there is something wrong, right? So there are a variety of different capabilities like linking, merging tickets, making announcements, and also the CMDB, which Nikhil spoke a lot about today, through which we can identify the impact of this issue and identify user groups that might be affected and inform them. So now let's see how, by establishing a good incident management strategy, you can move your teams to manage these major outages and minimize the impact for your organization. So here is a quick new timeline that we have created for our friends with ServiceDesk Plus and different integrations that completely revamps the major incident management workflow. So now again, we start with the LMS platform going down, but this time what happens is, with the integration with OpManager, we are going to immediately raise a ticket in ServiceDesk Plus that the LMS DC backbone is down. So we can see now we are looking at the cloud version of ServiceDesk Plus, and as soon as the ticket is created, so now a technician needs to work on this ticket, right? Because all the information has already been pushed in over here, and we can see details like who this ticket is being assigned to, what the priority is, and so on. So a ticket has been raised from OpManager, but how do you ensure that it gets the necessary importance that it needs? There are hundreds of tickets that come into your ServiceDesk Plus. So that is where our automations come in. So if we go over to the Setup tab, scroll down to automation, we see that there are a variety of different automations that you can create in ServiceDesk Plus. Automations to automatically assign ticket to technicians based on a round robin or load balancing method, and also condition-based actions like business rules, which are condition-based action. So you can set the conditions under which this has to be activated and perform a variety of different actions like sending out notifications, changing the template of the ticket, updating the field details, and so on. So that is how you can use business rules to give this ticket the necessary importance that it needs. So that is the first thing. So once the ticket comes in and you get all the details. Step number 2 is stakeholders being informed. So we saw earlier with business rules, you can create these notifications. And we also have something called notification rules. Under different events, you can automatically trigger emails, push notifications, or SMS notifications to keep your stakeholders informed. So now moving on to the next one, which is collaboration. So nowadays, a lot of employees work hybrid, right? Some work at office, some work from across the globe, but all of them are important, right? All of these different teams need to come together to work on a major incident to ensure it is immediately resolved. So how do you do that when you have different collaboration tools in your organization? So now Microsoft Teams is a very popular collaboration tool that thousands of organizations across the world is using. And by integrating ServiceDesk Plus with Microsoft Teams, you can bring pretty much the entire UI of ServiceDesk Plus into Microsoft Teams. So your technicians can work on this ticket right from here. And if you notice, what we saw in ServiceDesk Plus is completely available to us, and we see something called transitions over here. Now, transitions are basically actions that are available for your technicians and guide them into what they need to do next. So by using this visual workflow builder for request life cycles, you can establish standard operating procedures to ensure your technicians are working on tickets the way you intend them to work on and give it the necessary importance. So you can set up a variety of actions before, during, and after a transition, with before choosing the criteria under which this transition is available, during what you can do during when you click on the transition, and after you can run a bunch of different automations, notifications, and so on. So now anyway, going back to our ticket, by clicking on analyze, we can see that it will get more information from us and we can move this on to the next stage. So anyway, let me go back into ServiceDesk Plus and show you how this works. So yeah, so it asks the necessary information from us. Once you give all the details, you can click on save and move it to the next status. So if we wait for this to quickly load in, we can see that it has been moved to the next status of open, and we have more options available to us. And over here, we can also see the CMDB, the relationship map of this particular business unit, so we can better analyze what is going on. So let me go ahead and quickly save this. And now we see the next transition is available to us. So based on my analysis, I can see if this is a major incident or not. And if it is a major incident, I'm going to select report major incident. And as soon as I do that, automatically a notification is being created across the organization informing stakeholders that services are down. And we have a bunch of different transitions as well, where we can deploy teams so that tasks are delegated to the respective teams so that they can work on this major incident. So now anyway, if we go back into Microsoft Teams, and let me go over to the Teams window, we can create different teams like a major incident channel, where automatically, as soon as a ticket is created, it puts the notification here for key stakeholders within the major incident channel or for all employees as well. And this way you can actually completely streamline the way you handle your major incident. So I'm going to click on deploy teams, and this will automatically create tasks which have been delegated to different teams. And once this issue is fixed, I'm going to go and move it to the transition issue fixed. So now moving back to our workflow, let's see what happens. So we see that using the CMDB, we can identify the true impact of this issue, and by using announcements, I'm informing it to the different stakeholders, and by using tasks and delegating work to the different teams, I can ensure that this issue is being resolved quickly. But major incident management just doesn't stop with the incident being resolved. Incident management is more focused on finding a quick resolution, but as an organization, you need to identify why this happened in the first place. And that is why root cause analysis is important, where you create a problem ticket and try to identify the main reason this issue happened in the first place. So from here, I can click on new and create a problem for this particular incident and associate it with it. It pulls in data from my incident ticket so that it's easier to track. And not only that, it automatically associates the problem over here. Additionally, I can also create a change after identifying the root cause and identifying that maybe I need to make certain changes to my IT infrastructure to ensure this incident doesn't reoccur in the future. I can also create a change ticket and track it parallelly so that we are making changes to the IT infrastructure without breaking anything else and ensuring that it is smoothly rolled out. So these are some of the different capabilities available to us in ServiceDesk Plus to completely revamp and restructure how major incident management can happen. And all of this is possible because we are leveraging the alert that comes from OpManager, and that is what makes this entire major incident management process a proactive one. And that's pretty much it for this use case. Thank you so much all for listening in. And if you have any questions on what you see today, please feel free to reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much. And with that, I hand it over to Nikhil.
Thank you so much, John, for that session. It was very insightful. All right. If there are no other questions left, I think we can wrap up this session. Yeah, I guess all the questions have been answered. All right. Thank you so much for your time today. See you. Bye-bye.